Hit record. What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. It has been a freaking debacle to even get this team call started because Mariah has had all the technical issues over here in all over the world, which is funny because we are going to talk about social media tonight. So I'm just going to get to it. We talked about what things we were grateful for. We talked about the nitty-gritty of some stuff. But again, it's been a debacle with all of this crazy technology stuff, and we're just going to get rolling. So I'm so grateful to see all of your beautiful faces, whether you are a new coach or a veteran coach, OG coach, whichever. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I'm so honored to be your coach, genuinely, wholeheartedly. So tonight, let's just get started. I'm going to share my screen. We are going, I can't. Can you hear me? Are you able to at least acknowledge what I'm saying? Yeah? Cool. Then I'm still going. Thank you, Taylor, for pointing it out. She needs to send me tequila. She could have kept that crap by herself. Okay, anyway, so presenting. Let's go right here. Cool. All right, so I'm not a social media guru, but tonight I'm going to be your social media guru because I want to help you have the best experience for your teams, and I want you to be able to grow. A lot of people will say, hey, you know, Mariah, I don't really know how to grow my social media, and I don't know, like, how to grow or how to, like, go from here. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick because I want to share with you my Instagram account got hacked on September 29th. I have literally had over 176, and I went to go look at my account, 176 emails back and forth with a lawyer, who the lawyer is now speaking with, like, the head security department of Instagram on two separate issues. One being a claim that was just filed because many of you and many of my followers reached out to me and was like, hey, this guy's posting pictures of you on his Instagram. So that was a claim that was just taken care of. And then on the other hand, this man has hacked into my account, took my account, the Dr. Fit White account, took 30,000 followers from me, and got into all of my bank account statements and everything like that through Instagram. Crazy, right? So when I was telling you guys, make sure you have authentication, make sure you have all of those things to keep your family safe, that's why. But I didn't let that stop me. It was literally the first day that I showed up to the hospital, and I'm literally, like, in orientation, freaking out because I'm like, my entire business is ran on social media. But I've also instituted a lot of different layers, which we'll get into in the next couple of weeks, of how you can survive even if your Instagram is taken from you, hacked, disappears, you lock yourself out, X, Y, and Z. But from that day on, that same day, I sat there and started running Dr. Fit White 2. On that day that I started that account, it had 403 followers. 403, that's it. As of today, as I'm pulling it up right now, I have 1,361 followers. This is exactly to the day 1 month from now. So how have I grown 600 plus followers? I'm about to show you exactly how. So let's get into it. I'll go back to sharing my screen. So like I said, I'm not a social media guru, but I wanted to preface all of that with you because I kind of know what I'm talking about. So when you guys are like, oh, I can't grow my Instagram, I don't want to call BS, but I'm calling BS because literally 30,000 people were taken from me. So I'm telling you to just suck it up, but in a very, very loving way. And then I'm also telling my new coaches on here that are just getting started that just bless and release, everything's going to be okay. We don't need you to learn everything overnight, but I do need you to be coachable. So get your pen and paper out. I really want you to get to work. And I want you to start by really saying, starting with honesty, what does your social media say about you? Is your store open? Is it inviting? And does it exactly show who you are and what you're about? So why do I say that? I'm going to show you. Right here, I use 3 different examples. Mine is in the middle. Tori is on the left side. And then my girl Ashley is on the right side. If we dissect each of these Instagram posts and each of these Instagram pages, we see right off the bat, they're super catchy, they're super inviting, and they have one common theme, a bio. This is where you need to look and say, does my Instagram have exactly what I do and who I serve? So if we're looking at Tori's, it says helping women conquer the excuses to elevate their life and make their dreams become reality. So that's how she's helping, and that's who she's helping. She's helping women who need to conquer and elevate their life, okay? And they want to make their dreams a reality. Okay, cool. I'm right there with you. That's awesome. She then goes into the fact that she's a golden mama, she's a fiance, and then she's an MSW grad student. So that right there tells people that when she's posting, when she is posting, they're probably going to see a lot of stuff about school. They're going to see things about her golden retriever, and they're going to see things about her amazing fiance, John. So this is her way of saying, this is who I am, and this is what I do. And right off the bat, that's why I was so happy today putting this presentation together. Right off the bat, what do you see? Very first picture is her dog. Second is her, and then the fact that she voted. I'm excited about that. And then her and John. And then within the first six profile grids, or when they say your first 9, so I'm going to use the first 6. I see the fact that she is fit, that she is enjoying life. She's by the pool. I'm going to take credit for that picture because I did a really good job. I'll pat myself on the back. And then I'm also going to sit there and say that she's showing that she's a fiance. She's showing that she's a dog mom. She's showing that she's in what she's talking about and that she's sharing with other people that she wants to do this. So with that being said, I also wanted to kind of dive into mine. Right there off the bat, I say that I'm Dr. Mariah. I'm a tiny human healer. What do I do? And there's no right or wrong. I want you to look at the differences, because if you look at Tori's and mine and Ashley's, you're going to see the way that we format it just a little different, but really, truly the same things are conveyed. So I'm a Doc MP. I have the Your Life Matters podcast. I'm a mentor. I help you overcome the hard in life and reach the dreams that keep you up at night. Your dreams start here. And then I point down to a link tree. My link tree has everything anybody could possibly need, whether it's links to my bio, the coach sneak peek that me, Virginia, Ashley, and Britt did last week, anything about free stuff, any of the free workouts, all of that is housed on the link tree. And then the very last one, Ashley, she talks about she's Dr. Brown. So she has Dr. Ashley R. Brown. And then she's able to say that she's at Spelman and University of Michigan, and she's a PhD. I need to figure out what that is, but I know she's a PhD. She's a wife and mom to 2, and she helps others live in their purpose. That's what she's doing. So each of these profiles are great examples of what your profile should look like. Now, if you're like, well, Maya, my profile doesn't look like that, I need to figure out who I'm serving, then that's your number one thing, and you need to be honest about it. So one thing that I changed, and this is where I am different than Tori or Ashley, and all of us are a little different. Tori says, I'm helping women. I say, I'm helping you in bold. And Ashley says, I'm helping others. All 3 conveying very different messages, but all 3 going to touch on different people throughout the community who need our help. All serving the same purpose. We're helping people. Ashley's helping people live in their purpose. Tori's helping them conquer and elevate over their excuses and make their dreams a reality. And I'm sitting there saying, you can overcome the hard, quit with the BS, and no more dreams that keep you up at night. Let's get them done right now. And each of these pictures, I want you to also see the photos are bright. There are of them and of other people. Ashley has a reel that she used where she and her daughter are sitting there working out. She has an amazing, beautiful picture of the fall leaves. Us in Arizona have no idea what that looks like unless you're Tori and you came from Iowa. These are some beautiful leaves that are going on, and she has an awesome post about that. She talks about being an advocate for voting, and she talked about how she's dropping off her ballot. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is Tori is a 2-star diamond coach. I am a 7-star diamond coach, and Ashley is very well on her way to being a diamond coach. Right now in this picture, the only person that has greater followers is Tori. And Tori's been doing this for a very long time, and she's been grinding every single day to grow her Instagram and grow her following. But she shows up constantly. She's putting out content, and I'm going to show you exactly how she's been able to do that, how I've been able to do that, and now how Ashley's been able to do that. And Ashley's on track for being a success starter month 5 out of 5. So thought I would make your day happy. While I was working, Bianca was chilling. So set the agenda. If you fail to plan, you will plan to fail. You have to set your priorities. You have to understand what you're doing. And this, I showed you this before. I know that some of you who are in Chalene Shalene Johnson's Instagram stuff. There's a couple of other people. People will tell you, don't use Planoly, don't use third-party apps, and some people will say, hey, it doesn't really matter. I'm all about data, and I'm all about showing what works. So I screenshotted a couple of different posts, but then I thought it would just be better to show this. And this is why I use Planoly. One, I'm a busy mom. I'm a busy woman. I'm working full-time at the hospital, and I don't have time to constantly step aside and put up a post. And if I'm being honest, for you guys that have kids, and those of you who want future kids, you don't want your doctor spending more time on her phone running her side business than taking care of her kid, right? Like, that's not fair. That's not okay. So I want to be present for my kids, and I want to be present. When you guys see me on social media, it's truly because I have time, not because I'm like sitting there making time for this business around what I'm doing. When I'm there as a Doc MP, as Dr. Mariah, I am there fully as that, and that's why I use Planoly. And I have been using it for the past 3 weeks, and I've seen nothing but growth. So over the time that they have kind of been charting everything, they've seen that I've literally had engagement increase by 10.21%. I'm seeing that over in the left and the right-hand side of my screen. Impressions, I have almost 18,000 impressions every single day. And on a daily basis, from all of my posts, I've been reaching almost a little over 16,000 people. What does that tell you? How am I looking at that? I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you, but I'm putting content out there that provides value and that is able to be seen, and I'm doing it constantly. Now, you probably are saying, well, Mariah, I see you posting like 2 to 4 times a day. You're damn right. Because when I first grew my Instagram, I posted at least 4 times a day. Now, is that feasible for everybody? No, but it is for me because I use this app. If it wasn't, I would not be posting that often. And you could be saying, well, why are you posting that often? Because I literally had 30,000 followers taken from me, and my job is to be on social media being social with me, which means if I post more, people will see my content, people will share my content, and it will get in more people's hands, right? Makes sense. So for me, I'm looking at the big picture. I'm looking at how my traction is going, how I'm analyzing it. And the thing that I love about this app specifically, it takes my Instagram, mine, not Gina's, not Jen's, not Chad's, not Tori's. It takes my Instagram and looks at the people, the gender, the location, age, and activity, and says, these are the times that would be best for you to post your post. So there's times that I post outside of what Planoly or Instagram recommends, but I use it as a guide, and I'm able to set each day intentionally when I'm posting. And what's awesome is with that, and I'm going to kind of go into the next one with it, but you have to be understanding how hashtags work and how posts work. And if you put up a post, they always say don't post and ghost, right? We don't like getting ghosted. Don't post and ghost. When you put up a post, you need to be active on there for at least 30 minutes to an hour, and Planoly does it for me. So I put up my post, and the very first comment is my hashtags. I pick those hashtags, and those hashtags are already created in this app, and I'm able to just put it. Now, maybe you're like, well, Mariah, I'm okay. I can post on my own. That's awesome. I'm going to show you how to do that outside of the Planoly app, and this is how. So the 3 things that you want to know and do every single day consistently, and you want to plan out, is how to be viral, valuable, and vulnerable. What do I mean by go viral? Viral means you're bringing in new people. There are things that are easy to share. There are things that bring new eyes to your feed, and you need to use those reels. You need to talk about mom struggles. You need to talk about why you coach. You need to talk about COVID struggles and how you've either adapted or been hit by it, or now you're doing virtual learning. Whatever that situation is, that's what you need to dive into. And then think about, and I'm going to go into each of these, don't worry, but think about the valuable post. Now, your valuable post is, how are you sharing value for the people that are coming into your Instagram? How are you solving a problem? How are you titling it? And how are you outlining it? And always remember, value first, call to actions last. That's what CTA is, call to action last. So your post should literally say, whatever it is that you're doing, but you need to create a hook. So if you're trying to solve the problem of obesity, it's like, do you hate cooking? That should be your top thing. Do you hate cooking? Question mark. And then go into your story. So I never was a person that loved to cook. I hated it. And then I sat there and I started to venture into meal planning. And then meal planning got super simple. And now when I look and see that my family doesn't have any food to eat, and everybody's looking at me like, Mom, why didn't you meal prep? Understand that there's value in everything that's going on, right? Oh, something's going on with my mic. Can you guys still, Jen, I see your face. Can you still hear me? Thumbs up? Yes. Okay. So you're sitting there and you're doing it very clear cut, where you're like, this is the issue that I'm going to touch on. This is the outline that I'm going to bring. And then you say, hey, do you have issues with meal planning? And could you need somebody, or do you need somebody that can give you a little bit of assistance with it or show you how? Would weekly meal plans help? If that's yes, then message me. That's your call to action. That's you having the problem highlighted for everybody, outlining it, titling it appropriate, and giving value first before you ask them to do anything. Because then if you help them, you're able to do that in such a massive way that they're constantly coming back. You know that little flag at the bottom of your post that some of you probably don't know what they are if you've never used them, or if you hear people say save to your collections? When somebody saves your post, that means you've provided value for them. One of my amazing friends and also amazing coach in this business, she has been starting to implement different stories where she's cooking. The girl loves to cook, and she did that spin-off of the soup from Olive Garden. It's the zuppa toscana, and she talks about, like, she has a different reel for each of the different steps, and then she created one overall like cover picture, put it on her stories. She literally has over 3,000 people who have saved that one recipe. Why? Because whenever somebody wants to go to the store or make the zuppa toscana, they know that they can go to Kirsten's page or go to their collections and click on it, and it'll give them a step-by-step. Now, if you guys start seeing me post about food, you know that I'm a liar. Know that I'm a liar, because Lee is the cooker in the house. I don't want to cook. The woman can cook out her butt. So why am I going to cook? I don't like cooking. Before, when you first saw me, if you were an OG and you've been with me for 5 years, you've seen me do meal plans and meal preps and see my kitchen table filled with food. Not happening anymore. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. And as a mom, I'm not going to meal prep. Tori's awesome at meal prepping. She shares it all the time. But if you start to see me talk about food on Instagram, just be like, Mariah, you're not being vulnerable. And that leads to the next thing. So the vulnerable post tends to get harder for new coaches, right? Because you're kind of in that gray area of like, yeah, I've been working out, but I don't have this incredible results, but I don't really know what to say, and I don't know how to be vulnerable, and maybe I've never used social media before, so I don't really know what I can and cannot post, or I don't know if I'm comfortable. The thing is, you need to connect. You have got to share your story. And if I'm honest, if you guys are my personally sponsored coach, you connected to something that I put up that was vulnerable. Whether it was postpartum depression, whether it was my struggle with suicidal ideations, whether it was my struggle as a mom, whether it was my struggle as an athlete, turned 35 pounds heavier and didn't know what to do and swore up and down at home workouts never worked. Whatever it was, you connected with something vulnerable, valuable, or something viral that I posted. And usually what's happening is the viral is what gets people in. The value is what keeps people, and what's vulnerable is gets them signed up. And that's a progression, because if you connect with them and you share your story and how you've gotten from what we call Island A, who you are now, to Island B, even if that means 3 days, you worked out 3 days straight, that's an Island A to Island B. That's 3 workouts that you didn't do 3 days ago, right? That's how you make a deeper connection with your followers. And if you plan your post, you can create hook titles. You can do tips. You could do how-tos. You can get creative on how you help people and continue to have that viral value, vulnerable aspect on your Instagram. So then I want you to write this down if you're writing and taking notes, the HICA formula. Hook, introduction, content, call to action. That's that formula that I was going through. That has always kind of been the formula. I also use it as, pain point, or yeah, it's problem solution call to action. That's what I always say. Problem solution call to action. So your problem is you're dealing with postpartum depression. The solution is moving my body 30 minutes a day, having a community of other moms I can lean on. My call to action is, if you're struggling like me, this might be exactly what you need. Come message me and join me. Something very simple. Obviously, it's a little bit more detailed. Your social media should be something that you are able to use almost as a diary. Now, I didn't mean that in a way of like air your dirty laundry. That's not what I'm saying. But understand that this is a way for people to really engage in your life and really understand who you are, and then also understand that you're there to help them. So let's talk stories. Does anybody, wait, let me check the chat. Let me stop screen sharing. Let me make sure you guys are still alive, that you guys are still here. Can I get a thumbs up? You guys are doing good. Wow, this chat is blowing up. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. I can't. Okay. Add graphics. Yes, Tori, thank you. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen and we're gonna talk stories.
Can I add something on that thing where you're sharing?
Yeah.
That thing, you taught me the whole problem solution call to action, and I feel like I've been using that for like 2 years, but it really helped me because when I feel like I was doing my posts, I didn't really know how to say what I was saying, so that structure helped me, but it also helped me keep it minimal and not trying to word vomit and all the things, because I think like when I'm thinking of, let's use postpartum depression as an example, and I would like try to say like postpartum depression, and then I would give like all these examples or these stories or these things and erase all those examples because you don't want to, for them not to connect because they didn't connect to 1 of your 4 examples. The overall theme is postpartum depression, right? Like that's what you're focusing on, and then your solution is this. Get rid of all of that, this and that and this and that, and that formula helped me for sure.
That's an awesome takeaway, Tori. And another thing is, if you think about, and if you were to be, and I don't want to cause more homework, but if I sit there and, you know, I'm just going to use Gina as an example. So if I take everything that's happened, the progression of her and Chad having to move and transition of moving during a pandemic, like I can't even think about that, or what's going on at work, or having to work from home, or having this now fitness journey that she's obsessed with, right? Like there's all, being a wife, being a dog mom, there's all these different categories that she holds, all these hats that we juggle, right? And if you were to write down all of the things that have happened in all of those categories, you're able to come up with all of this content. And what Tori is saying, don't blurb all your content in one post, right? That's where you're like, okay, well, I had to move. I'm gonna butcher these names because I know she's told me, Chad's told me, but I think they moved from Vancouver to Calgary, Calgary to Vancouver. I could have all these countries, provinces mixed up, but she knows what I'm talking about. She moved from one place to another, went from an oil town to not an oil town. Like all of these things happen. If she were to talk about all of that in one post, and the hardship of having to move and sell their house and wait for it, and the transition of oil, like these are things that are really big in Canada that us in the US probably have no clue what we're talking about, but the people in Canada that she connects to, they're going to get it, and they're going to connect to, man, like, Gina, where'd you live? I live right up the street from you, and I can't sell my house either, and this is crappy. And when things are up, it's up, and when things are down, it's down. And somebody can connect to that, but she doesn't want to talk about all of that all in one post. Same thing with Chad and transitioning into a full-time health coach. Like all of these things you have knowledge on, but don't give it all at one time. It's almost that breadcrumbing effect, right? So let's talk about the stories. So biggest thing is, stick to the allotted time. There is a reason, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but there is a reason why you get 4. Now, all of us back in, I want to say the beginning of the year, it changed when we had like 15 stories and we could talk for hours on end on story after story after story. I think we got like 15 slides, and then all of a sudden Instagram's like, nope, cutting you off at 4, right? And we were like, wait, how did our minute go down to 30 seconds? Well, do you want to listen to 45 stories? Let's be honest. Half the time, even though I love you guys, I don't even have my sound on. I'm watching and I'm looking and I'm not really listening, because most of the time people are doing exactly what we're doing. We're either working and scrolling, looking at stuff while we're working, or we're doing something, or we can't really listen, or we don't have our AirPods in, so we don't exactly know what they're saying. So stick to the time that's allotted and be short, sweet, and to the point. And always add value and always adds words. Prime example, when I was doing this presentation today, I went to Tori's thing, I'm looking at her stories, did not listen to a single word on loud that she said, but I know exactly what she talked about because she had words on her screen. She talked about what this was doing for her. She talked about her workout. She shared her morning routine and then invited people to learn about a morning routine all from that. I didn't listen to one word, but I understood what the value she was giving me, and that if I needed to learn more about a morning routine tonight when I'm home and I'm done with work and the kids are in bed, and I'm like, dang, Tori was talking about a morning routine. I'm going to go look at her Instagram stories and I'm going to learn that and I'm going to find value. So that's what you need to think about every time you're posting it. The next thing that I want to share with you and that I have really been doing, and we learned this at leadership, was the B-roll. Didn't have any idea what the hell that meant when they were saying it, but you show them the nitty gritty of coaching. So this is one that I did today. If you guys watch my Instagram, of course, why would technology work? Why would it show it? So in essence, this is a time lapse of me. This very first one over here was literally what I do when I get into work. So I literally cabbie wipe down my space, even though I'm the only one in the office. I sit there and I take a deep breath. I put on my lotion that's stress away. And then I click into the Unstressed Meditation app and I do a meditation. Why? Because I had just done all of the craziness of working out, being a mom, then getting Bianca to where she needs to go, dropping her off at the nannies, having conversations with people on my way in, grabbing a cup, like all of the stressors, right? And I want to be fully present. So I'm showing them the value, of taking time for myself, which I didn't learn unless I became a coach. I'm showing them the value of the Unstressed Meditation app and how quickly it is to access. And then I'm showing them the value that even though I'm working and I'm not quote unquote a full-time Beachbody coach anymore, I make time for me. This middle one was last Wednesday's call when we had our happy hour. Yes, that is a glass of wine in my hand, which I wish I had in my hand right now. But I'm showing them what it means to be a coach and sharing that and having a team call. And you see on that one that I'm sharing and I'm talking about how excited I am. Now, mind you, these are blank videos that you see, but if they were play, you would see words pop on. Now, how did I create it? I went to my iPhone. Android people, I can't help you. I'm sure that there's a setting on there. But for my iPhone people, it is the time lapse setting on your camera. So you literally open up your camera, slide all the way over to time lapse, and what it does is it speeds it up. So I want you to think about this. If they're speeding up, don't sit there and do something for 30 seconds because it's going to be a video that lasts 2 seconds. Do something for at least a good 5 minutes of recording, because then you get about 20 seconds of good content for then you to progress. If you try to think about maybe 6 minutes, you might get about 30, which is 2 slides on your Instagram story, because then you can put words on one that talks about, man, I'm so glad that I took time to meditate this morning. And on the next one, I love that I get to help people learn how to calm themselves before they go on to work. Would you love to learn more? That's a way to give like quick nitty gritty of coaching and how that's helpful. So that's one thing that I would love to see you guys incorporate. I try to do a B-roll on my story at least once a day. And I would say on average 3 or 4 people that comment and like either ask me, again, social, when you want engagement, either ask me how do they do speed up videos, which I'm assuming they're coaches, or they're like, hey, it looked like you had a lot of fun. Like that's what I got on the team call when they're like, it looked like you had a lot of fun and you guys were drinking and laughing. And I'm like, yeah. And I sent them the coaching sneak peek video right afterwards, and one of them signed up. So that's that. Next, screenshots provide value right away. I put all of these in the team page on Facebook, so don't tell me that you don't have them. Why do I do this? Because then you have a quick snapshot of exactly what everybody needs. So this is the next level of November boot camp that I'm doing, and this is the content that you're going to get. You're going to get the weekly meal plans. You're going to get the posts. You're going to get the workouts. You're going to get the fitness routine, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And at the bottom, it says it's only 160. So what I did was to make it creative in our own, I put hashtag bold and beautiful. Tori could do hashtag living elevated. Like
team fit and thick, like whatever you guys want to do to make it your own. Fearless sisters, like whatever you want to do, make it yours, or just leave it the way it is. But just know that no, it doesn't look weird if multiple people have this up, because then you're sharing content. And if somebody's following 18 different coaches, I'm sorry to break it to you, they're going to pick who they want to pick anyway. It's not a pull thing. Like, I don't ever fight for people. Like, if people are like, well, my best friend is a coach, I'm like, great, sign up with them, but just remember, the team that you join matters. Like, you're not going to find a top 3-time top coaching team in this business very often, right? Like, this team is awesome, and I'm never going to shy away from that. But I also value you guys, and I value myself, that I will never, ever, ever pull or drag people to be a part of this team. They'll become a part of this team because we have value, that we are inclusive, that we are diverse, and that we love each other. That's why people come to our team, not because we poach people or beg people. That's not what I want. And it's not about selling things. People aren't just numbers, right? So we're giving value to them. The one that I shared, I didn't share the strawberry frozen yogurt bites, but I did share the oatmeal one. And I went back, because you can look at this, and if you swipe up on a business account, you can actually see how many people interacted, had an impression, or screenshotted. It won't tell you who screenshotted, but I had 53 people screenshot that one oatmeal recipe. It's an oatmeal recipe that they could have Pinterest, but because I gave it to them on Tasty Tuesday, they found value, and they're going to come back hopefully every Tuesday for another Tasty Tuesday, right? Then the very last thing that I want to talk about is static pictures. You provide value right away, just like what we were talking about before. So I don't have this feature anymore because I don't have 10,000 followers, but instead of saying swipe up, just say, you can still say swipe up, because then it leads to a DM, or you could just say, hey, message me. And this is where I will take pictures, and I will put, why not you? And then the very next picture on the same exact thing, I'll put, swipe up if you're ready to join our squad and start your own online coaching business. That will be my next thing. And then all of a sudden, maybe I'll add a third one where it's the exact same thing, but now I add an arrow, so people actually have to do it. What is that? Why would I do that? It gives them 3 opportunities to understand the value that I'm presenting, but also see the word progression with the same bright capturing photo, right? Same thing that I do on my podcast episode every Tuesday, Your Life Matters podcast. It's that same cute picture with Bianca, because she looks super cute. And then all of a sudden it progresses to another one where it talks about why the Your Life Matters podcast was created. It talks about another one of what the episode's about. And then it tells them to swipe up when they want to listen to Spotify or Apple, right? So it's a progression. This is an example of the last day of 9-week control freak. And I would sit there, and this is just a blank photo. I would just be like, hey, like at the top, on the top left, I would probably put, hey, I'm opening up 10 spots for an exclusive boot camp. The next one would be, not too many people can say they were in the cast of a program. And then the next one, you'll have complete insight and expertise on how to be successful in this business. And then the very last one is swipe up to join. Right? So that's my way of providing value, but a static photo. Why am I sharing that? Because I want you guys to understand that stories should shine your light. If you shine your light on your stories and your posts, you will add value to your friends, and you will see how to do that on your Instagram stories. You'll be able to get interactions, you'll have engagement, you'll be able to do all of the things. But you have to remember, screenshot value, static images, B-rolls, put words on stuff. And then when you're sharing on your stories, walk the walk. Show the behind the scenes of life. Your life is not a highlight reel. And if you're trying to make it be one, nobody's going to sign up with you. Nobody wants a perfect Barbie doll. No one wants the blonde hair, blue-eyed, 8-pack with no problems telling them that they need to get healthy and get off their butt. That's not what people want. Like, I'm not a Barbie. Nobody joined me because I have a chiseled body. Like, I know that Tori always says that I joined you because you looked badass, but it's not because I was like Barbie on a beach. That's not why she joined me. I don't look like the typical coach, and I'm proud of that. Our team is not the typical team, and I literally just got off a call with some 10-star and above coaches that I said, my team looks freaking way different than this screen. I am the only person with any little bit of melanin on this screen right now, and we need to change that. And they kind of looked and they started laughing. They're like, this is why we invite Mariah places. But I'm being honest. I want you guys to be social with people who are like you, but also people who are not like you. that might have the same values as you and the morals as you and the premise of why you're on social media. But really, truly, I want Team Bold and Beautiful to be unique and beautiful in all of the shades that God has created. So the biggest and last thing that I'm going to share is be social, because it's social media. So how do you gain followers? You're probably like, oh, Mariah, this is what I've been waiting for. Be real and raw, be authentic, show what this business is every single day. If you sit there, and me and Tori had a conversation, I want to say 3 days ago, and she was like, yeah, I didn't feel like running my business today. And I was like, you have days like that. And I'm almost positive Tori got on her stories the next day and was like, yeah, I didn't feel like doing anything. I sat on the couch and I watched Netflix. Guess what? People then are like, all right, Tori doesn't work this business 24/7. I'm cool with that. Show me how. You're making money. You're making an impact. Awesome. And I'm being honest, guys, it wasn't until, like, especially when I was working from home that 7 months, and people just saw how much growth our team was having and all the income that was being made and all of the amazing things that were happening. And then all of a sudden they were like, you never stop working. And I was like, yeah, I do. Like at 2 o'clock, I'm done. And I sit my happy butt on the couch. So then I started sharing Power, because I was like 18 episodes behind. I started sharing like all these dumb shows, like freaking Tori was talking about Selling Sunset or some dumb stuff show on Netflix. And I'm like, yeah, I can't. But I was like, oh, I'm going to share this. And literally, guys, I don't even know how many people commented and was like, it's so good to know that you're human. It's so good to see that you watch TV. It's so good to know that you actually are a person. And I was like, man, right, you're not showing a lot. So now you see me getting frustrated because Bianca just screams her head off in the car. You see me talk about how I'm going to unplug and watch some wine. You see me talk about date night. You see me do all of those things. I show the total picture of what the business is and my real raw self. And then I always invite to coaching. Why? Because this business saved my life. This business helped all of you. Not one of you would be on this screen if it wasn't for a conversation I had 4.5 years ago that saved my life, right? So like I said, connect with others like you and different from you, but share common interests with them. I don't want you to go follow weirdos. Yes, I'm recording this. Don't follow weirdos. I don't want to follow weirdos. Clearly, weirdos are the people that hacked my account, right? Like they're freaking weird. Weird. So don't follow weirdos. Follow people that you're in the same realm with. And that's why I'm going to say hashtags, and the magic number is 28. So make sure that you're having 28 hashtags that you put in your comments, not embedded in your post. It's in your comments. It's been tried and true, analyzed, and all the good stuff. 28 is the number. If you do 30, they don't acknowledge any of them. And if you do less than 25, they don't acknowledge any of them. So the sweet spot is 28. That's the knowledge that I've gained over doing some Instagram courses for you. So that's the thing that I'm going to leave you with that is tangible that you can take away. But also use hashtags for things like, hey, social worker, or a doc NP, or whatever the case is, so that you can really connect with people. Does that make sense? Yes. I know this was a lot of information spitting at you. Bianca is a ham. I saw her walk and plop. Yes, she's plopping on the floor and just like, now she's like, oh, I'm like, girl, if you don't get your freaking butt up, she's annoying me, but she's so cute. Just to piggyback off Planolly, it has been super helpful to plan out the pictures, even if I don't have the message yet. Yes, that's awesome. Oh, yay, I'm glad my back. I'm back. Cool. The sound is back. Cool. Add graphics to your highlights, though. I deleted mine because I hated it and I never fixed it. Okay, so Tori is adding that caveat in there too. And then another thing too, guys, I want you to like really be honest, and that's why I shared it. Be honest with yourself and really do an Instagram audit. If I were to sit here, I'm gonna pick on somebody. Stephanie, I'm picking on you. Stephanie has tough skin, so she doesn't mind if I pick on her. So if I pull up Stephanie's account, and I look at it. So right now, if you guys all wanted to go to Stephanie's account to have some insight, that would be awesome. You can totally do that. I know that a few of you are on your phone. But so Stephanie says, I help the tired, overwhelmed mama courageously take steps to being her best self and empower her to create a life she has only ever dreamed of. Right there. Oh, I got chills. Why? Because two things that I'm super proud of between what I shared with Tori's and what I shared with Stephanie's, her team Courageously Thriving is in her why she helps people, right? Like she built that into that. Whether the bio was first or the team name was first, I don't really know, but it's in there. Team Living Elevated, Tori talks about I'm elevating them to live their best life. So that's what you should be looking at. That's how you should be talking. And then I love how Stephanie, different from me, Tori, Ashley, embedded that she was a wife and a boy mama in her title. So it says Stephanie, wifey, and boy mama. So she didn't have to take up time for her bio. She had more room to write out courageously because that's $1 million word. And then she was able to add her link tree. So that's awesome. She also has coverage, cover pages on her highlights. And then if you look at her top 9, you see that she's a mom. I know it's hard to see, but if you were to look at her account, you will see that she's a mom. You see that she's a wife. You see that she was once an athlete. She's talking about her postpartum journey. That is all right there. And one thing that I want you to also look at is, do you have profile grids? Do you have reels? Do you have Instagram, IGTVs, and do you have tags? If you have all 4 of those, you're doing what you're supposed to do. And if you don't have all 4 of those, we have some work to do. And I'm calling out my damn self because I don't have an IGTV and I need to put one up, right? I can do an Instagram audit on myself. Another person that I'm going to pull up, Chad, who's in the background, I'm checking him out. So I love, and this is totally like a different vibe. And if Chad wants to, and like honestly, we are doing this right here. I'm trying to help, but this is a different vibe for each person, right? And he's trying to connect with different people, right? Obviously, he's connecting with males. Does a man really want to read a sentence? I don't know. I'm not a man. So we have to figure out if we need to change his verbiage to I help men become strong and fit, or whatever the sentence is. And we just talked about this, right? So I don't expect him to change his bio while we're doing a team call. Afterwards, we'll see what it looks like, but it still gives him a glimpse of what exactly he's doing. It says Chad Nelson, public figure, husband, dog, and then I love how they have an Instagram account for their dog, for Mila, travel, retired electrician, lifestyle business owner, which is powerful, and life is too short to be stuck in an unfulfilling career. So Chad, just off the rip right here, I would put, just as feedback, I would put husband, dog, and then retired electrician, and then business owner as like your titles. And then I would say, I help men understand life is too short to be stuck in an unfulfilling career, and I can help you get unstuck. I literally just created that in 30 seconds. Obviously, make it sound like what you want it, but that's where it's like, oh, a dude's going to come to that profile and be like, damn, I am stuck in my career. All right, Chad, let's see what you got. And they're going to give you that time to then be viral, valuable, and vulnerable, right? So that's how I've built this. That's how I've gotten those people who either have followed me from my old account or new people to be like, man, she helps people overcome the hard. All right, cool. Mariah, I give you 3 days. And that's usually the length of why somebody will stay. They're going to give me 3 days for me to show that I'm valuable, that I can keep them there, and that I can show up vulnerable. Is that helpful? Yes? Okay, cool. Prina, I know that we created a really badass one. Last one I'm going to do. Yes. Okay. So Prina has really, and don't worry, because Prina's on my list of people to do a hot seat with. So I know we have Gina and Holly next week or next month, and we're going to do Prina in these next couple of months with Stephanie. So I'm going to really target you guys because you guys have so much value. And Prina's going to be able to share her incredibly transforming story. And it should give you a little glimpse. So in her profile, she's Dr. Perina, and she's a physical therapist. She's a dog mom. And then listen to what she helps with. I help empower others to reignite their fire and shine the light hidden by the pain of their past. Right there, if somebody's like, damn it, Perina, I have a lot of pain in my past, and you're going to help me with it? All right, you get 3 days. You get 3 days. How can you, and think about that every single day. Like I have 10 followers that are going to follow me. I get 3 days to keep them show value to them, and then be vulnerable with them so that they at least consider joining our team. And that's what's going to help you guys go viral. That's what's going to help you guys build that momentum. Now, I can tell you all about the 3-2-1 and connection and all that other stuff, but I truly believe that your content is what sells. My conversations in behind the scenes in my DMs is what gets people to finally pull the trigger, right? Because I call somebody out because they've liked a million posts or they followed my story. But my content, what I put every day on my social media, that's what gets people engaged. That's what keeps people there. And that's what makes this sell. Does that make sense? Yes? Questions? I know that I need a new hairstyle. I'm using IGTV with Dominique. Dom, I get more engagement when I get him on a kid. Yes, same thing with Lee. If I get Lee on an Instagram story and all we're doing is yelling and arguing with each other, people are like, yes, Instagram, Lee, we want more. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. Like, no. Same thing with James. Yeah, I rarely ever see James on Instagram. So just like saying that, you know what I mean? So definitely utilize those things. I know I can be honest, and I could probably speak for Jess and Steph. We put our kids on Instagram. That's all that, like, I'm calling her out. She probably commented on 18 different stories, none of which had me in it, all of which had Bianca in it. So clearly people come just for Bianca, which is okay. She's cute. And I'm going to capitalize on that. Does that make me a bad mom? Absolutely not. Got to pay for her diapers, got to pay the bills, right? No, she's super cute. But I'm sharing my life. I'm sharing my life, and that's all I'm asking you guys to do. That's it. All right. Questions, comments, anything you guys want to add? King is so snuggly. Yes, like Tori talks about King snuggling. He's like a person. He is. It's the weirdest dog.
I told you guys he's sick. So he's
Oh,
sick.
yes, he has an ear infection. I do know that.
And he got shots when we were there, so I think his stomach hurts.
Oh.
From signs of his poop, I think his stomach hurts. No, but I was going to add one last thing, though. I think, like, take this information, and the thing that I haven't always done this. I heard this on a podcast or something, like, within the last, like, 2 months. But you never know, like, when your next rock star or whatever is going to come in your page. So like Mariah was saying, like, you're going to give them 3 days, and then after 3 days, if they don't like you, whatever, they're going to stop following you. But you never know when that person is going to come to your page. So if you don't constantly have something that is some sort of interesting to them, they're never going to come back to your page. So constantly, if it's, you know, even a Sunday afternoon or a Monday, can you stop covering me? Something has to be on your page all the time that is going to get them back in. That's where consistency comes into play, where you have to constantly be on your stories and sharing something valuable, because you never know that day or that moment.
Yeah. And then, Chad, I saw that you unmuted, so I'll share after. What were you going to add?
I know you mentioned, 20 or 28 hashtags or so. Have you got into the analytics of certain hashtags you're using, and are you finding that some are really bringing people in? Like, what's your insights on hashtags? Because
yeah,
they say it's all about hashtags, and they're saying, I don't know what's effective yet.
So it's kind of different per each hashtag, but I try to not have a hashtag greater than 250,000, but less than 5,000. And what I mean by that is, so if I sit here and I'm going to pull up a doctor nursing practice. So the doctor of nursing practice hashtag that I've been using has 5,000 posts / people, whatever they use that as. I use that hashtag all the time. Now, if I type in nursing has 1.7 million. I am going to get lost in all of the nursing tags, right? There's no point, like zero. I don't even, just dumb, don't do it. So if I sit there and say, so like retired electrician, as an example, I would never use it because it has 3. Right? So what else is in that realm? So if I use electrician, it has 1.4 million. Okay, let's kind of work with that. Electrical engineering has 538,000. I would probably use something like that. I would probably use.
So you got to play with the words and the
Yes.
phrasing to get under
Yes.
that, million mark or whatever it is. Yeah, you
Yes.
just got to play around with it. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, perfect example. Electrician.
Always relevant to your post though. Yeah. Like,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't always use the same 28. If one post is about your daughter, then you're going to have kind of mom hashtags. But if the next is about nursing, you're going to have nursing hashtags.
Yes. And that is theoretically how you should do it. So if you're sitting there and you're doing one about coaching and call to action, make that specific to whatever you're doing versus like everything. Now, am I perfect about that? No, because sometimes I just do it and like it'll be all in one kind of fluff thing. But if you think about it, even if I encompass mom and nursing and this, if somebody comes to my post, they're going to sit there and go through at least a couple of my other pictures on my post, and that might capture, as long as I'm doing it right, I'm going to capture the fact that I put toddler mom on my nursing. They're going to see a post with my kid, and then they're going to be like, oh, let me read that post, and that post might connect with them. So I don't think there's a right or wrong, but I do definitely stay well under 500,000 on any hashtag. Yeah, cool. And then the very last thing, and then I'm gonna let you guys go, is kind of piggybacking off what Tori said, is always, always, always remember how you got started. How many times, Tori's the caveat, I'm not gonna ask her. Jen left me and then came back. I asked Jess probably, what, was it over a year? 8 months? Yes, 8 months. It was 8 months. 8 months. I asked her to join me. And then she finally said yes. And now she's one of my top coaches. Stephanie and I played college ball together. Trying to get her to sign up as a coach was like watching me pass in the back row. It was awful, 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 awful. Like, she took forever to say yes. She was so skeptical. She's like, Shakeology, coaching. And if I'm honest, she was supposed to sign up with Sarah. Like, because Sarah was just coaching all of us. Like, because Erin was our athletic trainer. And then all of a sudden she signed up with me. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. It was like one of those moments where I'm like, I played with you. If you sign up with Sarah, I'm going to kill you. But it took a while for me to build that trust. I had to put something valuable and vulnerable up for her to then understand that I am not going anywhere. So I want you to keep that in mind. Think about how many times it took for you to be here, and then continue to just show up and be vulnerable, continue to show up and be valuable, and create that authenticity on your social media. So I love you guys with all my heart. I wanted to shout out a couple of coaches for Success Club. So go look at the boards. I'm not going to take up much of your time, but you guys are crushing it. I know we are trying to lock in elite. Keep taking those Success Club trips and summit events. Yes. So keep hitting Success Club, keep doing all those things, take lots of pictures. I would love a boomerang. Give me 20 seconds, I promise. And then you guys can have a good night. Okay. Smile. Chelsea, Taylor, get on. Abby, thank you for stopping cooking. Taylor, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I cut off. Nope, I cut off Jen's head. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right. I love you guys. I will post that on the team page. Have an awesome night.